Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Self-Improvement for Women. I am your host, Hope Long, and I'm excited today because I have the Benny Gallo with us, the Benny Gallo. She is a fitness coach. She specializes in finding the root of the issue when it comes to your eating habits and your health. She also went through an eating disorder as a teenager, so she does have expertise in that area, and she has dedicated her life now to helping other people with their finding their peace with their food. Benny, I'll kind of let you introduce yourself because you know more than I do on this is a whole realm that I'm not familiar with.
Yes, thank you. So thanks for having me. My name is Benny Gallo, and I am a health coach. And I have spent the last couple of years coaching. I do one-on-one coaching with my clients, and I help them break free from that emotional eating habit and self-sabotaging behaviors that we sometimes have. So it's been very rewarding to see my clients grow and finally find that peace they've been looking for, building that healthy relationship with food, and finally not feeling like food controls them.
Yeah, and that's huge because, and very specifically for women, right? Usually the body issues are really, really hard for us. Yeah. And I know my mom, she dieted all the time. It was always trying to maintain this image or this certain weight, the magical weight, right? And it never occurred to me that behind all this trying to have this physical image, that there was a deeper problem, right? And that there was an unhealthy relationship maybe with food or with, exercise or things like that. That never dawned on me. So I do know a lot of women struggle with that. And I see it in the online space a lot too, is women that, I don't want to say when women post pictures sometimes of their abs and they're so strong and they're promoting this health. They're promoting this image. They're not necessarily promoting the health behind it and their relationship that they have with this fitness and with this food. And so I always, since we started talking, I kind of noticed it a little bit more. I'm thinking, wow, this girl's in the gym every day for 4 hours. I'm like, that is a lot. And so it's just kind of opened my mind up a little bit to, the women that are really struggling with this every single day. This consumes their life, right?
It really does. Yeah.
So with that, do you want to kind of dive in a little bit on your experience as a teenager and then going into this industry?
Absolutely. So I have always struggled with my weight since I was very young. I started dieting at the age of 12, and I was very, very young. And back in the 90s, it was known to, you wanted to be that size 0, right? So I was that one. I was the one that was constantly working out, constantly starving myself. As a young teenager, I developed an eating disorder. And throughout my teens and pretty much my adulthood, my 20s and 30s, I struggled with my weight. I struggled yo-yo dieting. I tried everything in the market you can possibly think of, just to lose weight because I wanted to look like everyone else. Mm-hmm. And it was very difficult because no matter how thin I got, I was never happy. I still wasn't happy. Even with that number in the scale telling me I had reached that goal. So, a couple years ago, maybe 6-10 years ago, I've always been into fitness. I've always been into working out and learning so much about food and how to lose weight. So that has been my entire life. But the last couple of years, I really dedicated myself to educating myself through school, through, professionals. And I started coaching, I started training my friends and family, actually. That is how I started, in this fitness industry. They were asking me for fitness tips and please train me, and you're so motivating. So I started that way. And a friend of mine, actually a coworker, because I was in the corporate world for many years, a coworker mentioned to me, you should go to school and just get certified and just become a health coach. And I never thought about that. I was still finishing off my bachelor's in human resources. So my goal was to do that. But she really opened up my eyes to a different world that I was already so passionate about. And going through, my studies and just learning, about food, nutrition, fitness, and eating behaviors, that was an aha moment for me. I was like, wow, that's me, right? Because I knew that no matter how good I was in eating, how good I was on working out, there was obviously a bigger problem that I wasn't dealing with, because I was always going back to my habits. No matter I would do, a challenge, I would, lose the weight and then go back to that same person I was, gaining those 10, 15 pounds. And I'm sure many can relate. In that moment, I realized that I really needed to work my way from the inside out. I had to reverse engineer what I was doing with my fitness. And working my way out was a transformation for myself. And I was still coaching. I was doing one-on-one coaching online. I started working with a network. I was doing network marketing for a supplement company. And I loved it. I was still coaching, helping women, but it got to a point where it wasn't satisfying anymore, to me at least, because I knew that I could help someone lose weight. I could help you lose 10 pounds, 20 pounds, but that wasn't it wasn't long-term.
Right.
And I knew that. Yes. And because I was getting the results that I was, getting with my own transformation and healing myself internally, I knew that that was the route I needed to take, because that wasn't satisfying me anymore. I knew that I wasn't helping someone really achieve the desired goal they wanted. Because these women wanted to be healthy. These women wanted long-term results, not temporarily, but nobody was teaching anyone how to, after those 8-12 weeks, it's like, what do you do, right? Nobody was teaching how to continue.
Yeah, like maintain, right.
Yes. So I then I went back to school and I found this course online, which is called Trigger Mapping. I have to say it was the best course I've taken, because not only has it helped me, I've been able to relaunch my own business. And I now help women find those desired goals they want long term. I help them break free from those, bad eating habits and sabotaging behaviors they have for such a long time. And it's been so much, I have found so much peace within me. And it's been so, it's such a pleasure seeing these women be happy, because it's no longer about the weight. It really isn't about the weight. And the moment they find that peace, that happiness, and they look at that person in the mirror and they rediscover who they are again, that number on the scale doesn't matter to them anymore because
Right.
they feel good. And that has been so rewarding to me. And, you know, that is kind of like where I've been shifting my business towards now.
Yeah. So yeah. So, and you struggled yourself, right? And you came from a space of a lot of internal struggle, and it took you a long time to realize that it wasn't the food that was the issue. It was something inside, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times, you know, we just don't see that. We have so much other stuff, outer, you know, stuff going on constantly that we can't take, you know, 5 seconds to be like, wait a minute, I'm not eating this cake because I have an, you know, addiction to food. I'm eating this cake because I'm trying to fill a hole inside of me. But like we make jokes about it, but the reality is that is reality. And that's crazy. And so, yeah, so you went and did the trigger mapping, and that like opened up a whole thing for you. And so, and if you, for you guys at home, for trigger mapping, is it sort of defining or and sourcing the issue, like the root of the problem versus, I guess.
So
go ahead.
The course teaches us how to identify. We call it the 4 phases of food,
right.
And we kind of define where each individual kind of falls under, because we all fall under a different phase of food. Mm-hmm. And then we are able to identify what that core need is for each individual and what's missing.
Okay.
So when we categorize each person in these spaces of food, we are able to make those connections and know what is it that is missing in their life, and kind of guide them into kind of pulling it out of them deeper and internally.
Yes. Okay. Well, that makes more sense now. I wasn't 100% sure on what it meant. But yeah, so you started using that for yourself, and then, you know, you've got this incredible coaching business now. Do you want to kind of share a little bit on like how you've helped women, and like maybe some of your success stories and things that you've gone through with them?
Oh, absolutely. So I, you know, started my coaching business about a year ago, teaching this part. And the women that I've been helping, I mean, their stories have been so amazing. I have this client that came to me with very, very low self-esteem. She was lost. She didn't know what to do. She was tired of buying all these programs, and they weren't working for her. They just weren't working. She just didn't know what was wrong with her. So we started working together, and she was within the right mindset. She was ready to just make these changes within her, but she was also ready to do something different. I tell my clients, this is a very different way of looking at your health journey, because this is not something that I'm going to give you a meal plan or a fitness program and go ahead and do it. This is very, very different, and it's slow. So she was so ready to just take a different approach to her health. And when she came to me, she had her issues with the issues she had were with her mother. And she was able to have a conversation with her mom. And she's an adult already. And that fear she had, she was able to do that. She was able to just stand up for herself. And that felt great for her. That felt amazing. But what was so beautiful about her was that after a couple of weeks of working with her, not only was she able to make that transformation within her, her parents her parents, the ones that were triggering her, jumped on board. She was the one helping them, and they were losing weight with her. You know, they were, started cooking differently, and they started, her and her father loved bicycles, so they would go out on trips on the weekends. And to me, that was so amazing, because not only did she make that transformation, she was able to make that connection with her parents, who were very important to her. And that was, to me, that was amazing, because not only did I help her, but she was able to help her parents by everything she was learning from us working together.
Yeah, it's credible. Like when you start working within yourself and you start working on yourself, the people in your lives start to change too. And sometimes it's little and sometimes it's big. Like that is big. That is huge. That they jumped right on board and was like, let's do this all together. Like that is, and it's so sweet too. It's like, oh
yeah, it was.
But when you start working within yourself and for yourself, I think that is a big deal, because it doesn't just happen to you. You're bettering yourself, but you're bettering yourself to show up in other people's lives better too. And that kind of can start a fire under them. And it can kind of spark a conversation that could result in substantial change. And that's awesome. Yeah. That is so awesome. I love that. That's definitely like a winning story.
Yeah, I loved it. And it was, and that is one of those stories that I will always remember. And, working with her, it was just beautiful. It was beautiful all around.
That's so awesome. So awesome. So just a little bit of a recap. You do the one-on-one coaching with people, and rather than, giving them a meal plan, giving them a nutrition packet, and giving them a workout routine, you say you start to work on things that are a little bit deeper, a little bit more difficult. And it is a longer term and slow pace, because it's more of it's almost an emotional fitness journey, right?
Yes. Because we do work on the nutrition portion of it, because obviously the connection with food is part of it, right? We make that connection. But while making that connection with food, they're able to find why they have been using food as a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
So
and that
is that emotional part.
Yeah. And that opens up the opportunity to have some peace, right? Peace within yourself, and peace with, your image and your body and your health, right?
Correct.
Yes. Awesome. Well, we are nearing the end of the interview, so I have to ask you the big question, which I had mentioned there's going to be a big question. So if you were to pass away tomorrow, what is one thing, a piece of advice, a story or something that you would want to leave with the world?
Something that I would leave the world with is to always do what's important to you, no matter what people think or say. Because sometimes we wait too long to start doing what we love and what we're passionate about. And sometimes it's too late, and we don't end up doing what we love. And I think that if I left the world tomorrow, I would want people to know that start doing what you love today. Don't wait.
That's right. Yes, because tomorrow is not promised. And I love that so much, because it's just so true. Like, why put off today? You're put off tomorrow what you can get done today. And if you're going to start a business, start it today. If you're going to start your fitness journey, start it today. That's so awesome. That is so awesome. Well, Benny, thank you so much for coming on. You are a wealth of knowledge. You guys at home, if you want to follow her Instagram is down here, all of that information, and she's a real person. So reach out to her if you're struggling and you need some guidance, you need some direction. Benny is your girl. she's got your back, and she'll help you through it for sure. Benny, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me. It was such a pleasure.
Awesome. All right, you guys, we will see you next time.